What's going on, guys? Welcome to the next episode of the We Live the Lifestyle podcast with your host, Chris Bautista. And I have a very special guest here with me today. To be honest, I don't know if I should intro you with your like an actual name because to be honest, I haven't said your actual name in a really long time, bro. Um but we have a very special guest by the name of Unoway, and his real name is Tyren Smith. So here he is.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Slit. I like what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, man. To be when I interviewed Felipe, I don't know if he told you, but the reason why I wanted to start this type of thing, to start a podcast, was to one, just talk upon, different topics that I thought was, you know, pretty like unpopular opinions, like through like a day to day, like for example, like like depression, mental health, because again, you know, for me, I've gone through a bunch of phases in my life, and I would think that you would too. We're actually gonna dive deep in that today, but
Mhm.
I wanted to shed some light on it, because a lot of people are afraid to kind of talk about that kind of stuff because they don't want to be judged on, especially like being a male.
Yeah,
We don't want to kind of come off vulnerable or quote unquote weak. So,
yeah,
I definitely, plus I just like talking to people and stuff like that.
yeah,
And then on the other side, just talking with guests that I know personally, and to be honest, that people know, but at the same time don't know, like kind of what goes on in their head, what
Mhm.
they go on a day to day and stuff like that. So I definitely wanted to, start this to kind of, have everyone get to know uh, their mutual friends or people that they know from word of mouth.
Let's
So
go.
yeah. So how are you, man?
Good, it's working, making music.
Hey, man. Like I was um I was just thinking when when I was doing like a bunch of research, cuz I didn't really kind of sat down and like talk to you one on one,
Hmm.
like like at all. Like,
Yeah,
because you know a lot of people don't know this about like people that are like successful in like small towns and like that, but in small towns, like people know each other like very well.
yeah,
And we went to school, we went to high school,
yeah. High school.
because yeah, we went to high school together. And um before we start going into the first topic, I just wanted to, just seeing your come up from, knowing you from like, coming over my house on the weekends to
Yeah,
just, chilling and stuff like that, to, where you are now, is
yeah.
just incredible. Um and it's been 2 years since you kind of, has it been 2 years since you like started music, or has it been 2 years to, like in your mind said like this is what I want to pursue, or stuff like that?
I mean, to be honest, it probably will be more of like 2 years. Since the decision was that I was going to take it 100% serious and like just commit my like entire everything into it.
Right.
I made the decision that I was going to pursue music fresh out of high school, like when I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
senior year, like, well, not senior year, but when I graduated, that's when I started making music. But that's when I decided, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna make music. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I made that decision. I had to choose between going to colleges I got accepted to or pursuing music the way I wanted to do it.
Mm.
You
Oh,
know what I mean?
you know what? That's actually really interesting, uh because people don't realize that, that like, the way that society works is that when you come out of high school, you had to go to college and go pursue whatever you went to college for. I have my own kind of like opinion on that. I definitely don't want to talk about that today because I'll go on a definitely different rant about that. But yeah, so like just for you saying that, how hard was it for one, for your family to be like, to support you in your decision to be like, okay, you know what, I got accepted to college, but I'm going to kind of go a different route.
Yeah. See, and that was the hardest thing, was the
Mm,
fact that I got accepted. And it was like, it was almost like there's no question. Like they were just like, oh, he got accepted, that's it. Like he's gonna go now.
mm,
And that was the hardest thing, because I mostly wanted to do it for, my mom, obviously, but I didn't want to do it for myself. I just really didn't see myself being in college for anything, like any of that stuff. I had no passion for it. And I just, I just saw myself dwelling over being in school the same way I did in high school. And I was like, I don't want to repeat that whole 4 years again of being
um,
in something I don't want to be in. So it was hard. It took time. It took a long time for my mom to get on board with me, but eventually she did.
for sure. With you saying, basically you don't want to go through what you did in high school to, transfer to college. That actually, because that actually kind of reflects on me because, to be honest, um, I felt the same way. Obviously, I didn't get accepted to college, but when I went to Suffolk, it was like Suffolk Community College for people who don't know. Um, it was the same thing. Like, wake up, go to school, go to your classes, and then the only difference was is that like I had a full time job, but it was pretty much the same thing. You went to school, you pretty much saw the same people on a day to day, and it was the same thing. And I had, again, like what you said, you didn't have a passion for it. Like everyone has, a passion for school, and going to school for how many years that you you go to pursue whatever you want to do. But school is definitely not for all of us. But yes, I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
um so how long did it take for your mom to be like, is it when you started to, like, pick up some momentum on kind of like recording and putting out music, and kind of you kind of making a name for yourself? Or is it like you kind of like sitting her down to be like, this is what I want to do, like I wish like you would support me, or so on and so forth? Because it could go like a few different ways, because you know
Um, I mean, so it definitely, it was before, I like, started making a lot more noise than I was like in the beginning. But it was maybe a year in. Um, I wasn't making any crazy like noise or anything, but like obviously in our area, Southampton, like
mm,
people were, just talking and stuff like that. And I think it was just that my mom was starting to understand it, because people would come to her talking about me. Like you said, Southampton is a small town. Everyone knows everyone. It's hard not to. And when, she has people coming up to her asking about me, she starts to kind of see the vision and see how things are happening. So
right.
she started helping me. She started putting a hand in, got me my first like actual like little tiny show where a bunch of my just friends came, and like close people to me came, and I performed with HG Rambo and a few other like HGE people. And it was dope. And that was the first time like I saw her really embrace my music and embrace what I was trying to do. So I would say it was like a year in, and it was before I was making any crazy noise. I only had Boss and songs with my boys, and from a mixtape that I deleted, but that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh
But
man.
like my very first like little mixtape with like 4 or 5 songs on it. But that's all I had at the time, and she was on board by then.
Was it um was the mixtape on SoundCloud for a little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now I remember. I remember that. But my next question, just for you, just going from there, because when you were in high school, you kind of you kind of making a name for yourself, but it was kind of in a different realm, right? You were a dancer for a little bit, correct?
Yeah, I was dancing
Yeah.
for life.
Oh no, for sure. Like I remember in different functions, I definitely seen you bust a move or two or
Yeah.
but do you think that that kind of popularity, I don't know if you would call it popularity, but would do you think that that kind of definitely helped with, picking up momentum kind of like right out the gate? Or is it just other external influences, like for example, like you have I was going to talk about this later on, but I'll definitely touch upon it later on, but people don't know that if they do or not, you have a very close knit group of people that have been with you pretty much since forever. You guys grew up with each other. To be honest, you guys grew up like literally down the road from each other and kind
Yeah.
of spent pretty much every day with each other. So, do you think that definitely helped you kind of kind of pick up momentum?
Yeah, like right out the gate, as soon as I started
Mm,
making music, you mean, right?
yeah.
Well, to be honest, so basically like when I was dancing in high school, like everyone knew me for March Madness
Mm,
and my solos that like everyone loved them. So it was something everyone looked forward to every March Madness. So yeah, I guess you could say it came with a little bit of notoriety in a sense, because there weren't a lot of dancers in the school.
right.
So everyone knew my name from that, but it didn't give me any type of confidence to go into the music and think like, yo, okay, like people know my name, so if I make a song, like people are gonna listen to it. I didn't really see it like that. But I mean, in a way, I think dancing itself, because I did it for so long in my life, that it helped me have the confidence to be on a stage in general. I did it for so long. So, picking up a mic and performing on stage, it was different. 1000% had to get used to it, but I think it was a lot easier because I was so used to being on a stage anyway. It really just came to singing lyrics and moving around. That was some
Right.
difference. But my close circle definitely had a really big impact on me and influence, because like you said, I was with them every single day from like sixth grade to today. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and they were all into music, and we all had a similar goal that we wanted to reach when it came to music. My initial um my initial thing with music was I wanted to be an engineer. I didn't even want to make music. I simply got And this is the funniest thing. This is so funny, Chris, because you're on here right now. The studio we started with was a studio we bought from Chris right
Yep.
here. We bought the studio from Chris, and this is how we started everything. I was sitting down recording them every day for 8 hours.
Right in the basement of your house, right?
Right in the
Yep.
basement of my
Yep.
house,
I
bro.
totally
We
remember, bro.
we set that up, and we were
Oh
using that for
man.
so long, bro. That's
Ye-
and that's what we started with, and that's what
Just,
we used for so long.
just to backtrack, if people don't know what he just said about me, I actually went to school to become an engineer as well. And to be honest, I think yeah, I did it my junior and senior year, um and I was definitely on the same path, but definitely again, everyone has phases in their life, right? And they want to try it, and if they like it and if it works, then great. But obviously for me, I did it. I tried it for, to be honest, I think 3 years, and my passion was kind of like I didn't discover it yet, but it definitely wasn't into being an engineer in music. I love music. I love just how some of the some of the genres can, can change my mood or whatever like that, but um the passion for, making music, sitting down in the studio, I loved being in the studio, but just that whole realm definitely wasn't something that I saw myself doing. But yeah, no, um I to be honest, until now I kind of I totally forgot that 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 I sold all that to you guys, and to be honest, I remember going down there,
Yeah, and
and
help.
yeah, and that was, oh man, good. That was
Well,
this
it
is
was so
this,
many of us. They like it was like 8 people just
oh
down there
man,
waiting.
yeah, it was
Get the help.
yeah, and this is the reason why I like doing this stuff, because definitely with people that I know personally, is that um it just brings back so many memories, but the memories that actually kind of is related to what you're doing now.
Yeah,
When, like, for example, when I was talking to Felipe, it was like the way that we met each other, and how everything pretty much kind of, like, kind of made itself, was actually with you. I don't know if you remember.
yeah.
Um just a quick question. Was that performance, was that your first ever, like, performance that day or that night?
It wasn't my first ever performance, but it was my first like crowd for me performance in a
Okay.
way.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, that was a question that I had, that I was like in my head when I was talking to him. But yeah, so really quick, um I was uh I was recording you as a videographer at the Sweet 16, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it was a Sweet 16, and then after that we went to AM right
Mhm.
after, and that's how I met Felipe. So just that together, just like just going down memory lane and kind of remembering like how everything kind of like came together, and everything like that. So man, that actually brings back a lot of memories, bro, and I'm actually glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Um but going back on the topic, so what was so going by like your little studio in the basement, what was like the first song you've kind of recorded that actually picked up traction?
Um I mean, we're gonna have to define traction because when I my first song I dropped, I thought that was the most plays in the world.
Okay, you know what, let's do both. Let's go your first ever song, kind of like what, like, roughly when, and how old are you right now?
22.
Okay, so if you guys didn't listen to my episode with Felipe, he's 22 as well,
Mhm.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm 25, and it's just insane, because just right now, like, uh the younger you are, it's like it's so easy to find what you love, because again, society, like, this I'm so passionate about this topic. Society, it just makes you kind of like breeds you into, becoming, part of society, not
Right.
necessarily being a person that you want to be, or whatever you're passionate about. So when I was your age, it was just like that. It was like I graduated high school when I was 18, 19, went to college, didn't know what I wanted to do. I either to be, you know, be something in society, or like, you know what, an employee.
Mhm.
So the difference between you being so young is that when once you started to, kind of get into it, society kind of went into that realm of, being able to accept, people wanting to pursue music, or people wanting to pursue something that they're passionate in.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just a little just a little background on basically where like his journey from and how young he is. So yeah, go on.
Yeah.
So yeah, your first song.
So yeah, the first song I ever dropped was called Boss, and it got like 1,000 plays overnight. So I
Okay,
thought it
that
was
was
insane. Yeah, yeah. And that was in August. That was right after I graduated. That was in August.
wow. No
Um
way.
yeah, yeah. So I recorded that, mixed it, engineered it in my basement, and I just put it out. I said whatever. And I recorded the video. Like 4 days after I finished the song. Like I just wanted to get everything out. I said, no, I need a music video. I need this, I need that, I need that. I put everything together, put out a video, and it did like really good. Everyone was playing it. I mean, now that I look back at it, like it's totally different now. Like the way the numbers work now for me is insane. So like back then though, I was like, holy shit, bro. I was like, I couldn't believe it.
It's because like when you put out a first project of any sort, whatever you're doing, it's like you have you put your heart and soul into it, and to be honest, you're doing it without no expectation. You have no yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen. So once you kind of put it out and you're like, all right, you know what, this is like whatever happens happens. Like I put everything into this, and when it blows up like that, you're just like damn, like this, like you have, to be honest, you have no words because again you didn't expect it. But when I first heard that, I was like, this is, I think something's brewing here. I think, because like there's a very small percentage of people that are actually making a name for themselves outside of this town, because especially like kids your age. And like when the people that, just the difference between the type of people is like in my age, people went to college. I'm going to keep saying this because it's I got to stop, but people went to college in my age, but now it's just like even for me in my realm, in like the fitness realm, uh it's very accepting now to kind of, start it and do whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
So definitely, yeah. And then so that was your first song, and to be honest, you kind of came out guns blazing with that song. And so after that, would you say it was like a steady incline, or was it like a roller coaster effect?
No, so after that song, I was so afraid to drop another song because of how good it did.
Oh,
I
okay,
literally
like
had people playing the song at the football games, and I was just like,
I think I remember that.
bro, I was like, what is going on? And then I was like, bro, I have another song, but I don't like it enough. I was like, this song isn't good enough to follow up. So, bro, I didn't drop a song for like 2 months, bro. And everyone was like, yo, when's the next song? And it was so much pressure, bro. I was like, damn, do I actually want to continue doing this? I
For
was like,
sure.
I never had a pressure to have to keep up with consistently giving out good like music or good quality something. Like dancing, it's easy for like I freestyle it, everything.
Right, right.
Um, which I later started to, put into my music, which is a whole
which
different.
is which is totally insane. I actually saw that pretty much firsthand, and it's insane. But just really quick, do you think that it would have been easier to release a second project if Boss didn't do so well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because of the expectation,
Yeah.
obviously. Right. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. So like after those 2 months, what gave you the courage to kind of like, kind of be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to release something.
I think it was the fact that the song that I came up with was the same way I came up with Boss.
Mm.
Like I was working at Dunkin' Donuts full time, me and my
That's
brother.
in Yeah. Oh my God, I remember that too.
I made I made Boss like I was just I had like I worked in the back. I was making donuts. I had the speaker, and I would play like YouTube beats all day in the back.
Dude, you know what? I this is the type of stuff that I love because people don't know the grind that like went into all the projects that you did in the beginning. Like you right now being like working a 9 to 5 wasn't the best 9 to 5 at all, but you know, but just working on top like along with, you know, trying to make something. Like people don't understand the grind that goes into pretty much any sort of passion that you have, and just you being in the back on a regular day, just, you know, trying to find that one beat that kind of be like, you know what, I click with it and then I'm gonna run with it, and
Yeah,
then when I run with it and then it becomes successful. And you know, oh man, I'm really glad you said that because people just don't understand. And I love when like successful people kind of shed light on, you know, embrace your grind in the beginning because you really never know what's
yeah,
gonna happen. So
100%.
yeah, definitely go ahead with that.
But so yeah, like I would play the speaker with the beats like just on loop, like on YouTube, and then that's how I made Boss the first time. But like I just set it, like I was listening to the beat all day, the same beat, and then I had to go take out the garbage. I took out the garbage, but my phone with me, took it off, and I was listening to the beat, and then I literally came up with like the first lines for Boss, like there, and I loved the melody so much. And I was like, this is it. Like I literally went home that night, stayed up all night, wrote the song, and then the next few days spent recording it and mixing it. Like I wanted to sound amazing. I was like, oh, I gotta do this, do that. But now that mix sounds terrible now that I look back at it, but like it's okay because it was good for then. It was good for then. It was
Oh,
good
for
enough.
sure. Definitely the times has definitely changed, as you would definitely back up. Um, but man, like see, the thing is like I definitely want to like dive deeper into, you know, the early days, but I have so many things I want to definitely want to talk about you. And I know you're a pretty busy guy. So so the one question that you know, I put a question thing on my IG story, and one question that kind of stood out to me was, where did the name come from?
Oh God. So all right. So Uno came from my oldest brother Trayvon.
Mm.
We were going for a ride. It was something we all did. Like me and my brothers, we always go for a ride, like late at night, just listen to music, chill and relax. It was kind of like our thing to kind of get ready for the week, or like, you know, like ease down from like stress, whatever it is. You know, we would just spend time together, like us brothers. So one day, like it was just me and my older brother. My brother Terrell didn't come, and we were riding around, and he was playing a song by Tory Lanez. It was a skit, and it was like, yo, Uno, make this left right here. And then my brother was like, yo, he's like, that would be a fire name for you. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is before I started making music. And then he just said, I'm just gonna start calling you Uno. Like he was giving me and my brother nicknames. So he gave my brother Trayvon, I mean my brother Terrell, Rex is his nickname, and mine was Uno. So that was what everyone in my family was calling me. And this was junior year that they were calling me this.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I didn't.
when I graduated, I decided to make music. I wanted to incorporate something like that was close to me. I didn't want to make up a name, Lil this, Lil that. I just wanted to have something that actually meant something. So I kept Uno, which is what people in my family already called me, and I just added way to it because I just liked the way it looked in all caps.
That's actually see, the thing is like when people make up their artist name, if they don't use their real name, people just try to make it as generic as possible.
Mhm.
So with you kind of having a meaningful name and there an actual story behind it just makes it that much more like special. And um just on top of that, I was telling to Felipe that the thing is that I commend you the most is that you're paving your own way. Like you're not following any sort of, any sort of like cookie cutter or whatever. You're just trying to make your own sound, and you're kind of doing things the way that you wanted to, and kind of not necessarily following any other person, right? And obviously every single artist has obviously their musical influence, like their favorite artist that they kind of like inspire, like get inspiration from. But for you, I just like the way, like throughout the years, like listening to every single song, it has a different type of sound that, to be honest, I never heard before, especially in like this time in music.
Mhm.
And it's just crazy to me because especially in like the music industry, you definitely want to kind of, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say copy and paste, but kind of, be with the crowd, so it would be easier for you
Mhm.
to, make a name for yourself.
Totally.
But it just makes it that much special that you're doing things your own way. And I definitely commend you, and I definitely,
Thank you.
that right there, just makes me kind of, it motivates me a lot, because again, like, I mean, it's like you don't have to do what everyone else is doing, basically.
No,
And
you don't.
I just, definitely, that right there should, I should share to pretty much everyone, no matter what anyone says, or no matter who is at the top, you can always get there by doing you and being real to you, and
Yeah.
just, doing things your way. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, I never knew the story, to be honest with you.
Oh,
I kind of, I kind of, I never, because I knew pretty much everyone in your friend group, obviously, because you know we grew
school.
up, yeah, we grew up with each other, or we went to school with each other. But people don't really know what goes on in the mix if they're not in it,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
definitely knowing the story behind it is just eye-opening, because that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Um so another thing that I didn't know as well was, um that you actually moved to Puerto Rico at a young age, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that. How,
Uh,
what, in what time frame? Well, obviously before high school, but
yeah. I was young. I went to school in Puerto Rico from um like kindergarten to third grade. So I was
oh,
there for about 4 or 5 years. I think like four and a half years. Um and yeah, I moved there with my entire family at the time. Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Um and okay, so it was at the time that obviously you were conscious of what is going around you,
Yeah.
right? So would you say, you've said this in multiple articles, as I read, but how, in your opinion, because people don't know, um like, culture is a big thing, like outside of the US, right? No matter where you are. So how much do you think, like Latin culture, and like just that in general, is kind of like influences you as a person, and also influences you as an artist?
I think it probably played the biggest role on me as like just like a person. I think I really think that it made me um to be so conscious of a lot of things that I hear it all the time from like people close to me, like you're so aware of like the weirdest things or like the slightest things, and I'm just like, honestly, I really think it's just the way I was brought up, my family, and just how I was brought up and where I was brought up. It's a whole different world out there, especially around the time I was living there. It's a whole different world. It's literally nothing like it is here. and it really just it was one of those things that humble you in a way, because living here, we don't realize how much we have, but like honestly, compared to like what I had over there, it like I have too much now. I feel like I have too much now. And like before, when we first got here, I feel like we had a lot, you know but in America, like it's not a lot, like compared to, what I mean, like it's just not a lot compared to what everyone else has around you. But for us, for my family, like it was a lot. Like we didn't have anything back then, what I mean, when we lived in Puerto Rico. So I feel like that whole everything I went through for those 4.5 years, me and my family, like all the little things, all the big things, like it just made me understand so much, and honestly just made me grow up faster. And I think that's also what makes me the way I am, in terms of going into my music, going into my career, going into making all the decisions I do. I always look back, like I don't know what type of person I would be if I wasn't raised that way. You know what I mean?
I actually like what you just said, because people just don't, they, especially now, people are not, they're not grateful enough, right? Especially when they're kind of, successful, or, you know making a name for themselves at a young age. They kind of like, um ride the wave of, being at the top, but
Hmm.
they never kind of look back to be like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
you know so, um you being so humble is just making you that much better, not even just as an artist, but as a person. Because, being people just don't understand that being humble is, like, just makes you that much better as a person, because you can understand different aspects of life,
Hmm.
and you kind of see people as equals,
Hmm.
and you don't see you being like being over people, or whatever, in that sense.
Yeah.
um because, especially when you're at the top, it's very easy for you to be above people,
Yeah.
because you're successful,
Hmm.
and you don't want to basically stoop down to their level, or whatever.
Hmm.
But for you, just being still close with your friends, and that um that are still out here, that
Hmm.
just shows like what kind of person you are. So I definitely commend you for staying that way,
Yeah.
so, um but yeah, no, definitely, definitely just you going through that, or just, yeah, just you being there, is a, like what you said, it's a, humbling experience. Like, for
Yeah.
me, when I went to the Philippines, when I was, I think when I was 18, it was
Mhm.
it was definitely the same thing. It's like, just,
It's a whole nother world. It's
it
like
is.
you just have to respect it, you know?
Hmm.
That's really what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Like, when you're walking down the street, you have, I don't know if it was like this in, Puerto Rico, if you can remember, but for me, just walking down the street, little kids just like tugging on your jacket, like asking for money. It's
Mm.
just like, it's insane how how different life is. And then you kind of, when you come back home, it's just like you kind of tell yourself, like, you know what, I'm going to step back a little bit,
Mhm.
and kind of, not be so uptight.
Yeah.
There are a lot more people that are going through way more worse things
Mm.
right now. So,
Oh.
um I definitely relate that 100%.
Mhm.
So, um so the next thing that I definitely want to talk about is, um there was one article, that I read. I don't know if you know it, it's, or remember it. It's, I think, Sway's Universe, right? They
Oh,
were
yeah.
talking about your song, um Mad AF.
Mhm.
um and and then you told them the reason why you made that song is because there was some sort of anger that like
Yeah.
came over you, right?
Mhm.
So, and then also I believe in the same article is like you want to make each song pretty much relatable in some way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want you to just elaborate on that. We can talk about Mad AF after, but just kind of elaborate on just making each song relatable to whoever.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, um, obviously I know the why. Like there's a very generic why, but like I feel like there's some, there's
For sure.
something different that goes through your head when you say that.
Yeah, 1000%. It for me when I say like it mostly has to do with the feeling someone gets from the song. Like if I'm trying to give off a certain feeling within my song, like I want to get it across in the lyrics or in just the way I say things or just the vibe of the beat, just the vibe of the whole song and like in total. Like I don't want to just have no like everything about my music is really emotion and a lot of people notice when they hear things with me singing on them like they notice but they've never heard or felt anything like that when I'm just rapping or something like that like it was a different thing for me. I've never made a song like Mad as Fuck ever in my life before. That was the first song like that for the most part when I'm just speaking in like a regular tone voice. And I think there's no better way to get across that I'm mad than when you hear me speaking in that type of tone. Like, people
Yep,
people people who know me know like if I'm mad, like that's the type of tone I'd probably be using when I'm talking to you. I'm not the type of person to yell at all. I don't usually raise
for
my voice.
sure.
I'm usually like if I'm mad, that's probably how I'm going to sound. And I want people to feel like I just want you to take away like everything I felt when I was making that song. Like I felt like I could finally express what I wanted to express in terms of me being able to say like I have something more than I used to have, or I'm going to have something more. And the people that are talking shit aren't phasing me. I'm still gonna do it no matter what you're saying.
Right.
That's what Mad as Fuck was. It was one of those songs for me. And yeah, I have a video for it. I never dropped it yet, but yeah, I just feel like the video showed it as well too. Like that's really what it is, bro. It's really like just trying to get it across in the emotion. If I can't do it through, the lyrics itself, I want you to get it across with the beat. I'm really, really strict with my beat selection.
Yeah.
I'm so annoying. Producers hate me because I take so long to pick a beat. It's ridiculous.
See that what makes you a very unique type of artist, because like you know what you want.
Yeah.
You don't settle for anything other than what you want. So I feel like most people or most artists kind of, you know, um because to be honest, I actually learned this in school. They kind like some labels kind of give you a list of beats to pick from, and if you can't pick from it, then oh well. Um but just you kind of knowing what you want and picking exactly what you want and not letting any sort of external thing kind of dictate your decision just makes you that much better as an artist, man. Like, and I to be honest, is learning that from you is just like man, I'm really really glad that you're taking the extra time to be like, this is what I want. This is what is going to make the point across that's what I'm trying to talk about in this song. So yeah, definitely the beat selection for that song, it just hits you different for sure.
Yeah, it does.
So so definitely was obviously like with that song there was a lot of, you know, negative vibes from different people,
Mhm.
like like hate and stuff like that. Would you say, just apart from the song, would you say that there was a time or multiple times in pretty much your journey that kind of, I know you touched upon this before, but that like negativities kind of like stirred you away to be like, is this seriously what I want to do? Because again, I can guarantee every single person, no matter what you do in life and no matter what you're going through, negativities will definitely make you like think twice about your decisions for sure. So yeah, did have they ever kind of made you rethink? Like obviously there are like different times that are more worse than others, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I would say there was probably once that actually made me rethink if I wanted to continue pursuing music. Um and I think it came when you start making more noise and you get more people, more eyes on you, you have more opinions. And those more opinions are the ones that start to make the difference in terms of what you're used to hearing. And now when you're hearing something new, you're hearing something different from your audience. But in reality, it's just the new people that are coming along that have something to say about you that haven't been there from the beginning. And that's usually what it is. And I've learned that. So nowadays, all my life I've been the type of person to not listen to a single thing anyone says to me. Some people can say it's stubborn, but I genuinely think it was just me knowing better what was better for myself. I've all my life I wouldn't let someone tell me what's better for me. I'm me. Like, you can't sit here and tell me that that's better for me. You know what I mean? I took that along with
Exactly.
everything. I took that along with the music. So when it was a time I can never forget it because it was the first time I ever heard anything like this. But there was someone tweet I don't know, was Snapchatting or tweeting that I fell off, blah blah blah, some BS. And I was just like, I'm not even on yet. Like, and that was like my that wasn't what made me think twice about wanting to do it because they said that. It was because are my fans going to let me are my fans going to trust in me and let me do what I have to do to get to where we all want me to be, right?
Right.
Like, if you're my day one fan, like I had a group chat with my day one fans, like 35 of them in the beginning.
That's insane.
And I would text them, we would talk, we would joke, send memes, whatever. Those people would never have said something like that. You know what I mean? Like, they would have never said anything like that. So I knew, like, it's just a new person that doesn't really know me. And that's when I obviously snapped back into it. Like, I'm not going to stop making music because this one person has a negative thought on, like, my process and what I do.
Right.
That's why I'm always saying thank you. Like, all the time, always saying thank
Oh,
you to my fans, because I'm like, thank you for being patient,
yep.
because it's going to be a process. And I knew it would be a process because I'm such a perfectionist, and the littlest, slightest detail that isn't right for me, like, I just won't drop it. I won't do it.
Right. Were that was the group chat with your fans? Were those any people, any one of them like people that you knew?
Um, not I didn't actually know them personally, but I've known of them, some of them, but a lot of them were younger kids. So what I did, I just posted on my story, and I was just like, the Uno chat, like Uno group
Right.
chat,
I
fans and
remember
stuff,
that. Yeah.
so they can get, like, I was sending them like leaks of songs I've never dropped, like stuff like that, for them to feel like it's more exclusive. But like, yeah, they were younger kids, so I didn't really know them. It was just mostly like just random kids from Southampton, wherever, that were in there. I can only fit 35 at the time, so it was like 35 people just in the chat.
See, even just like that, just having just a group chat with like fans, period, like it just, oh man, just makes you a totally different type of artist because again, that's when people kind of get to know you as a person and they don't just look at you as the art as Unaway the artist. They look at you as Unaway the person, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
See that right there is just definitely just making you like setting you in a different type of different type of realm in the music industry, like which is like definitely a good realm to be in
mhm,
because some of these artists are definitely not relatable at all
yeah,
or they don't take that extra step to be relatable. So
yeah.
um so so going by just like your fans being so so like um what is the word I'm looking for? Being so being so supportive of you, kind of like being in the trenches and kind of like getting your music out. The one thing that I definitely want to kind of talk about is like the story that you posted recently about your album, right? That like that story right there just like it just basically hit me different because do you mind if I say it out loud?
Yeah, yeah, you got it.
Okay, so the story read in his quotes, this album is not just about the music, it's way more than that. There's a song for every single person in this album, no matter what kind of music you like. The concept, the stories, the structure, it's a bit of a trip. When it drops, I finally get to let you guys into my mind, heart, and life. A lot of people say I'm closed off. I'm a closed off musician, and it's hard to develop fans and supporters like that, blah, blah, blah. But little do they know, I have everything and more on the other side for all of you. Man, let's see. Oh man, that right there, man, just like it just makes you feel that like this artist cares about his music. Like it's not just a clout anymore. It's not just being on top and not kind of being in like the spotlight. It's just like he really like really is into the music, you know?
Yeah.
And so uh you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Do you have a date in mind or a time span?
No, I actually don't.
Okay.
I don't have a date or time span because like I said, I just I want to perfect it. I've been working on this album for so long, but the concept has been there for even longer. So it's really become about making the concept come together the way it's supposed to.
You
That's
you
why I
know
said it's not just about the music because
right.
I can easily punch in 22 songs for you guys that I have unreleased and say that's the album.
Yep.
But that's not how I want to do it. I need you to understand it from beginning to end.
See, that's also like with you saying that, it's just like you kind of remind me of um how Drake is at this moment of time. He's been he's been he has said that he was going to release Certified Lover Boy, I think beginning of this year, but
Yeah,
he told everyone that it's not ready, you
yeah,
know, and he basically just wants to perfect the album and kind of put quality music out. So just that right there, just like with you, you know, again being so being so into the music and not necessarily having a timestamp. Just be like, you know what, I'm going to release this when I think it's right. And I
yeah,
think your true fans will kind of treasure that more than anything else. And I can guarantee once that album comes out, it's going to be something special, bro.
yeah.
And just,
100%.
you know, and and just even just you releasing just like little like just singles for the past couple of years. It's just like even those singles just like were special as well because again those didn't have timestamps at all. And just you just teasing like really good music on your stories and on your IG posts or wherever you post is just, I don't know, just making the anticipation so much more
Yeah,
better for sure. So um man, I'm that right there, that IG story, I definitely wanted to talk to you about that because again, when someone reads that, they can kind of interpret that in many different ways. You know,
yeah,
they can interpret that how I interpreted it, like man, like this guy is really into his music, so on and so forth. But you can also interpret it on the negative side, be like this guy is falling off, like he's getting lazy, so on and so forth. So I definitely wanted to get kind of your, you know, kind of um your take on the story and what your mind was going through making the story, to be honest. So um before we, because there was like a few IG questions that I wanted you to answer that I got from the story, but the one thing that I wanted to also touch upon is actually making music out of the country.
Huh.
So I wanted you to kind of just talk about it, how how it all went down, like the experience kind of like being over there. Where
Mhm.
was it? By the way.
I the only place I went to go like make music out of the country was well, technically in the country, was Puerto Rico. But Colombia, I went to Colombia, but I didn't end up making music there. But it was honestly in the it was in the air, like we were going to do a little something, but I ended up not doing it. um but in Puerto Rico, like that's usually where I've been making music, like out of the US type of way.
Wow. That's insane. Is it just the reason why you go to was it is it because just the nostalgia of being in like a country that you feel comfortable in, or is it just um like being one, being in a comfortable environment, and two, being away from basically just the US influences?
Yeah, you know what? Like I would say both of those are definitely factors. I mean, the first time I ever went down there, I was going down to I wanted to embrace my culture again. I just feel like I've been in the US for so long. I haven't been down to Puerto Rico in so long, up until 2 years ago. I decided that I'm gonna go down, and I wanna get really in tune with the Spanish side, and start making music in Spanish, maybe just learn a lot. I wanted to just soak in a lot of info and take a break from the US. I wanted to get away from here. But a lot happened that trip, and it's insane. Like, and then I just ended up being in a situation to be able to go down there whenever I want, and record. So
So just right, not like being related to basically recording there. How does it feel to kind of have the opportunity to make a decision to be like, you know what, I'm just going to basically just leave, and kind of like having that opportunity to be like I'm tired of this. I'm just going to go where I feel that I feel the most comfortable, and you know and just be yourself again. Like
yeah,
how does that feel to kind of like have that opportunity? Because most people don't have that opportunity at all. I just
yeah.
want you, yeah. So,
But and that's kind of where I go back to feeling like I have too much now. Uh,
mm,
because like it's like like I haven't flown on an airplane since I came back from Puerto Rico. And then when I graduated from high school, and then a few years later, up until 2 years ago, which is when I was 20 years old, that's when I finally got on a plane again. And I took one trip, and then after that I was able to take many trips, and I was able to go here and go there and go there. The people that I got involved with, and obviously I have a partnership deal with Empire. I'm not necessarily signed under any strict contract or anything like that. So I have the freedom to drop a song whenever I want, and stuff like that. But I am signed with a type of deal. So that comes along with the people I'm involved with, and the way that they want to help me, just elevate as a musician. But the people that I'm involved with, Flow Music, it's such a family, man. It's such a family, and it just reminds me so much of just Puerto Rico itself. And like you said, like it does have to do with it being just a comfortable place and all. But on top of the people that are my team now, it's such a family. They're all so close. They care about everybody. No one's on any type of level. The biggest artists in our label are still look at us as bigger artists than them, you know, like it's so much respect, and it makes it 20 times easier to want to record there. And it literally just starts to feel like it's a whole nother family. It's like I'm going home to, you know, like my music home, you know.
Yeah.
And like that's what it is, like that's literally what it feels like. And it's so easy to go down there and work and stuff like that. And I'm just blessed to be able to do it, you know. Like I said, like they take care of me so well. You know, they put me in positions to work with, you know, artists and you know, producers, whomever it is. It's dope. It's super dope. And I'm extremely blessed to have like the opportunity to do it, you know?
And also it's just like just a healthy environment for you to kind of, tap into your creative mind. And like what you said, it's so much easier to kind of like, let loose and kind of like dig down and be like making a great project. So
Mhm.
just like you having the opportunity and being blessed enough to have like just that environment in general, just like is just great, man. Like I feel like most artists can't are very are 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 not in that much healthy environments for them to be like, be like tap into their creative mind.
Yeah.
And they're too involved into, you have to release on this day, you have to release like 5 projects this month. So it's like, yeah, definitely like you kind of having the opportunity to have that type of family. And of course my phone goes off, but yeah, no, but yeah, so how, I don't know if how did that like come about? Like how did you kind of link up with them and kind of like make the ball rolling?
So uh yeah, the person I'm actually signed to is DJ Nelson. I'm signed to DJ Nelson.
Yeah.
Um the way I met him, it was the weirdest, most unexpected thing ever that happened to me in my life. And I can only think that it was just meant to be at this point. So my original plan, going down to Puerto Rico, was just to go meet a family friend. And he was in kind of the music scene. He worked with the Puerto Rico School of Music, and
Wow.
he had kids from that school that he had a project label with, and they were developing music. They had their own studio, whatever. So I was going down to work with them. And when I got there, he actually my manager now, Malcolm. He showed me, he introduced me to all the kids. We made music, we had fun. He told me, he educated me for the whole, I was there for a month. I was in Puerto Rico for a month. He educated me every single day that whole entire month on the Latin side of the music industry. Just so many things I had no idea about. Opened my eyes to so many things, possibilities. And you know, we just rocked it out for that whole month. And then the day before I left, he said, DJ Nelson is here. And I told him about you, and he said that we can bring you over to the to Flow, which is the studio. And I was like, oh, like cool, like bet, let's do it. I only knew him for the song Te Bote. I knew Flow Music was Te Bote. Um, which was playing in the clubs all the freaking time. And I was just like, the fact that I hear this song playing at every single club at all the time, and I'm about to meet the guy that was, you know, behind, you know, putting that whole thing together, was super dope. So I walked in, we walked into to Flow, and then they tell us, they're like, oh no, he's doing a podcast right now for Sirius XM. I don't think he's gonna be able to talk to you guys for a little minute. It was 5 o'clock in the morning, bro. And we're just
Wow.
all right. And then I leave the next day. So we were like, oh, it's okay, like, you know, whatever. So we're saying bye to everyone, and then Nelson comes running out the door like, yo. And then
Wow.
Malcolm and him are friends from years ago. So Malcolm is like saying what's up. He hasn't seen him in 7 years from that day, but they embraced each other, and everyone was like like they've been best friends all their life and that they've seen each other every day. You know what I mean? It was insane. I'm like, after 7 years and this is the way that they act together, I was like, I already love the energy. It's insane. So Nelson, he he was just talking to Malcolm. Malcolm was telling him about me, my music, showed him some stuff. He loved what he saw. The weirdest thing is that his favorite video was Boss. And I was like,
Really?
that was the weirdest thing to me, bro. His favorite
Wow.
video, his favorite song that he heard from me was Boss, but he was extremely surprised at, you know, my versatility and the stuff that I was doing. And he heard little snippets of Spanish music that I have made, just and like he could see like that's something we can actually explore in the future, and made him even more comfortable. So he walked in, he said, I think I have a beat for you. He's like, can you make something to it? And I was like, yeah, I'll make something right now. And he was like, right now? I'm like, yeah, right now. So he walks in, he goes into his studio, he's looking for the beat for like 45 minutes, comes out, he's like, I found the beat. He gave me the beat. I go into the little side studio for like 30 minutes. I come up with the hook for it, and then I tell him like, yo, I'm done. He's like, you're done? I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like, let's go record it. So we go into his big studio, Versace studio, and then he loads it up. We start recording, and I'm just punching. After the first line I punched, he was like, and then he walked out the door, and I was just like, "Oh shit, he fucking with it." So
Oh
I just
man.
and this song is Rolly Watch. This is the first song I ever recorded with
Okay,
him.
that was
It was
dang.
we recorded it and this is what and I'm gonna get to this after, but we recorded this song in like 30 minutes. It was at like four o'clock in the morning, and it was so quick, and we finished the entire song. He was in love with it. He played it like 50 times over and over and over and over. And he was just like, yo, he's like, we gotta shoot a video to it. So that's how I met DJ Nelson, but I didn't get signed to DJ Nelson until a year later. An entire year goes by. I didn't hear a thing from Nelson, from Flo, from anyone of the team. Only person that I've been in contact with was Malcolm. And we he just told me, he's like, listen, we're just gonna play the waiting game. You're gonna continue to do your thing over there, and you know, if anything new comes up, like if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And I was like, you know what, like that's a fact. Like I'm not gonna dwell on it. I'm not gonna expect anything. I'm just gonna continue to do what I usually do, you know, work. And if something comes out of it, I'm grateful. So we literally like almost an entire year later, I get a call from Nelson, and I'm like, I don't know how he got my phone number. Obviously, probably from Malcolm.
What were you doing in that moment?
I was sitting in this room. I was sitting right in this room, and I think I was setting up my room. Yeah, I was setting up my room. I had just got new studio equipment and everything, and I was setting up my room, and then he called me. He was just like, "Yo, um my guy over there, Bayano, he's gonna shoot the Rolly Watch video. He's like, he's booking everything now. He's gonna send you the treatment, blah blah blah." This whole
Oh
time
man.
they put together the treatment for the video, the budget, the people, the everything, the warehouses, everywhere we had to go. They put it all together. So it was the first big budget video I've ever, you know, actually had in my life. And it was just a cool experience. So I went through it with my mom and my brother, and it was the coolest experience, and it was eye-opening into, you know, what I had in store for the future. And you know, after we did that video, after that whole year passed, after Rolly Watch, I still wasn't signed. We did Rolly Watch, we released it, I still wasn't signed. Like I actually wasn't signed yet. But we released Rolly Watch, and it went viral on like some meme pages and stuff like that, and it was going crazy, and a lot of people were fucking with it. And then after that, I flew down, and he said, now comes the album. And I was like, all right. So that I went down to record at Flow again, and I made the entire album there.
And is this is this the album that you're waiting on?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that was in this in so with the Rolly Watch video, that was your first budget like music video, right? Okay. So what year did that like from like the time you because this was 20. I'm trying to think because I've to be honest, I felt like it was just yesterday I saw you in Puerto Rico. But
Yeah,
um
I'm there a lot, but let me see. It's definitely, it was in May of 2019.
okay, so it was in 2019. Um so I would believe okay, actually good segue into so um so the year passed and you said you went back down there to record the album, right? How did the pandemic affect you and your workflow and your opportunities to go down there?
To
Did
be
it
honest,
matter?
it I'm grateful that it didn't affect me as much as it affected a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
My my work is mobile. We just like I wasn't visiting Puerto Rico as much, but I was going back and forth to Florida a lot during the pandemic. Um, I was working, I was doing everything. The only thing that really mattered was like the only thing that changed was like we had to wait a certain amount of time before we were allowed to all be in the same place. So after
Right.
that was up, everyone was back. We were all back. We were all seeing each other. We
Oof.
were all working in the studio. So it didn't change much for me. I was still able to do everything I needed to do.
That's good. That's definitely a good thing because definitely, as you know, the pandemic definitely hurt a lot of people's businesses and their workflow. So, knowing that the pandemic didn't really hurt you, definitely, again, definitely your definitely didn't again work affect basically um your on top of everything like your mental state
Yeah.
because again I feel like if the pandemic affected you and your workflow, your mental state would have been all over the place. And I would believe that you would be sitting down and be like, oh, like I can't handle this, like I need things to just like go back to normal, so on and so forth. But definitely
Yeah.
definitely it's good that it didn't affect you at all.
Yeah.
So um I'm telling you, man, like I can talk to you for literally hours because this is great. But I definitely want to end it off with a few questions that I got, and we'll take it from there. But so one one question is what is your we'll start it off with a banger. What is your top goal with your career at the moment?
um at the moment, my top goal right now on my list is simply to just develop that. I really much rather have the fans that will be there for me, like, for a really long time, rather than the fame and the notoriety for having a hit song. I'm My goal right now is really to just develop a really, really, really strong fan base, and doing all the things I have to actually develop that strong fan base, and then worrying about making those hits or whatever it is, and focusing on having those hits and those charts, those charting songs way later. You know what I mean?
So basically, you're just aiming for longevity of a
Yeah.
career,
Yeah, yeah.
which which is obviously I feel like that's everyone's goal from the beginnings to have a long career. But
Mhm.
I my next question to kind of branch off of that is like how are you going to kind of make that happen? Because to be honest, I feel like if knowing well you explained this before, like it could have all ended started and ended with Boss,
Yeah.
because again it kind of it blew up. So how are you each and every day? How are you taking steps to be like having a long career more than a short high fame career?
So, I'm and honestly, it's not even. I'm very optimistic that it will be the case that, it becomes me being, you know, uh a top tier like artist in whichever time it is. But I've really just wanted to be more of a big. I just want to have a big fan base, a big audience. I don't even want it to be me being big. I don't
Right.
even care. If I have a big audience of people that just believe in me, it's literally just a matter of time. You know what I mean? Um, but like, how I plan on actually doing it is just staying in the trenches. Like that's where they are.
Yep.
That's where my fans are. They're here. Like, I was supposed to been move out and move to Texas. Like, at any time I can still make that decision and just leave and go away and leave, like, and not worry about a bunch of the things I have to deal with, just still being here. But it becomes more of like a longevity thing. Like, I'm not done with getting the fan base I want from Southampton or from Long Island. I feel like I have a lot of work still to do here. And some people may see it totally different. Like, yo, like, people know you, like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta move out, blah blah.
It's time to branch.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I believe that it's been time for me to go, but I'm I'm just prioritizing what's more important right now. And important to me in my career, I think it's just embracing Long Island and the full of New York, but mostly Long Island the way it needs to be. There hasn't been an artist that came from Long Island that got big, or anyone that got big and really embraced Long Island the way that I feel like they should have. Like, we are all on this side, and it's so slept on, and it's ridiculous. Bro, I know so many talented people that are on Long Island and on this side, and it's just like we don't get the shine that people in the city get. Like, if you live in the city, you're 10 times more to get that clout, that fame, whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Because it's more known. It's more known. New York, you don't think of Long Island when you say New York, and that's just a fact. Like, we've had Lil Tecca, we've had him blow up, right? And he's from Nassau. Like, he lived in Nassau County, but he mentioned Long Island in his songs. Like, that's the type of thing that, everyone who's come from, Long Island and stuff like that should be doing. Like, everyone knows what you had to deal with trying to get out. And when you finally get out, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things, like, bring it with you. And that's kind of how I do it, but I want to do it on a way larger scale, not even just Long Island. Like, I'm from Greenport. I was born and raised
Yep.
in Greenport. So, like, I even want to bring Greenport. I want to do the littlest, biggest things to make that impact, to shed light on these, like, certain locations. You know what I mean? And I think that's really, like, my biggest goal, and that's how I'm gonna do it for the most part.
Man, I love picking your brain because it's a very unique answers because again, when everyone says what is your goal for your career, they definitely they always say, oh, I want the fame, I want the money, I
Mhm.
want the accolades, but for you, you actually want to actually have people know where you're from and kind of make Long Island be on the map
Yeah.
more than New York City.
Mhm.
Because again, like when everyone talks about uh like like the three biggest cities in the world, it's in the states is New York City, LA,
Mhm.
Miami,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you again, like what you said, shedding light on, like Long Island in general, because again, most people and most people look at Long Island as just like, you know, the Hamptons being, you know, like the rich and what people go for vacation, but
Literally.
you kind of want to take it into a different direction,
Yeah.
which is definitely something that I love. So,
And
um,
everyone, and they think that everyone that lives in the Hamptons is rich.
yes.
Not the freaking case.
Mhm. See,
It's not realistic.
it's like I share that I share that topic share that idea like pretty much all the time.
Mhm.
Like when everyone like what I said, like when everyone says, "Oh, I'm from the Hamptons," like their next question to you is like, "Oh, like how big is your house? Like
Yeah.
where in the Hamptons are you from? Like what do
Mhm.
you do for a living?" And I'm like, "I'm telling you, man, a good percentage of us are not rich.
Yeah.
We're middle class and trying to get by." And to make it even worse is like the cost of living out here is definitely not what people seems, man. It's like it definitely reflects the rich and the rich people for sure. So um uh yeah, no, definitely you sharing that, it just it's just really good, man. Really words can't explain um basically what your mind where your mind is at right now, and basically your love for where you're from.
Yeah.
So um next question is who's your dream feature?
My dream feature. There's only actually my girlfriend asked me this recently and she was so surprised with the answer. My dream feature is well, there's two. And the reason why there's one of them is because my my musical influence, not for making music, but for getting into music, was Chitty Bang. I listened to Chitty Bang on the freaking bus every single day to school and from school. And his music resonated with me, like every lyric, every single thing. And I actually got the pleasure to have a conversation with him and everything. We, you know, through DMs. So like picking his brain, I was able to pick his brain on like things like industry wise, the way he makes music and stuff like that. And that's and I even mentioned it to him, like, bro, like I can't wait for the day that I get to make a song with you. And you know, he's such a cool guy. And it was like a dream come true for me to actually be able to get in touch with him and have a full conversation with him. And I, you know, like I see him as like a huge artist. And now, you know, nowadays nobody really talks about Chitty, and nobody really knows like where he is or what he does, because you know, like doesn't drop music anymore. But I mean, I know things behind the scenes that he actually is doing, but that's a whole nother thing. But Chitty Bang is gonna be like one of them, and then the other one is Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is my dream feature of all time, because JB just like he's literally one of the he is like the first artist to blow up from like social media, you want to say YouTube.
Right, right, right.
Really, he was the first like pop star from YouTube. And I just really think that we can make amazing music. Like I just believe I could write a song for him or just make a song with him, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. But definitely Justin Bieber's on the top of that list.
Oh man, like would you say because uh Justin Bieber is such a versatile artist,
Yeah.
you know? So like he's made total like numerous different types of music
Yeah.
from, you know, from when he first started, it was just him just singing, and then he went into, you know, he went into rap music for a little bit, and now he's just his sound has definitely changed, but it's definitely stayed popular, which is
Yeah.
he I feel like most people's dream feature would be him because just the way that he is as an artist for sure.
Yeah.
Um but that must have been just having that conversation with Chitty, like that must have been legendary because again,
Really.
most people don't have the opportunity to talk to the person that inspired them to make music until later on in their career.
Yeah.
you know. So um would you would you say you would make music with him just behind the scenes, just to be like to yourself, I made music with him?
I would like that literally just for me to have. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even drop it, but like yeah, just to say I have a song with Chitty and I was able to make something like amazing with him. His
Right.
music and the way he always approaches music. Um, Not only him, but you know, Chitty Bang was a group. It wasn't just him. It was Zafoon Jones. He was the producer. He was the genius behind all those beats that were so freaking catchy and amazing. But like he's on my list always. To get a beat done by Zafoon, come up with something amazing and have Chitty on it. Oh, that would be amazing. That would just be that's a dream right there. That's a dream.
Oh man, that's I feel like just just having like a song with someone like that would just have in your portfolio, not necessarily to have it released to people, but just, you know, when you're like, you know, just chilling one day, you just, you know, just play it and just
Yeah.
like having the memory of like I made a song. I made a song with him, you
Yeah.
know?
The guy
So
I looked up to
for
all of high
sure.
school, the music that I was listening to in my headphones, and now I'm listening to in my headphones, me and him on a song.
Hmm. Oh man,
That's
that's legendary to be honest, man.
insane.
Um, so these two, I don't know if these are the same questions about like necessarily like you just answered, but one of the questions like who influences your music? And actually no, let's answer that first one first.
Who influences my music? Um,
Or 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 is there numerous people?
I would honestly say there isn't a specific person that influences my music anymore. In the beginning, I would literally just pick from um you know, a person in my life and, you know, try to write off of it. So my songs would ultimately end up being love songs because what's easier? There's nothing easier to write about than love, pain, and happiness. Like
True.
they're the easiest things to write about. And like gang violence, but I don't want to do none of that. But that's easy to write about too.
Right.
You hear that all day, but I would yeah, like before that's how I would go about it. And but nowadays I just nowadays I just feel a vibe and I don't even write my songs anymore. I just punch
Right, yeah.
line and I just record like that. I don't even it's whatever I'm feeling with the day. If I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling like, you know, I want to make something hype. I want to make a club banger. I want to make something soft and like pop, I will, you know, I will just go like that. And the first thing I will say in my head is I'll just think of a word that best describes that beat. If I was thinking of me on this beat without me saying anything, what word would come out my mouth? And I just say one word and then I try to make a sentence off of it. And then it just keeps the ball rolling, keep the ball rolling. And that's really how, you know, I structure and I do most of my songs now. So I don't let anyone actually influence my music. I'm more influenced on vibe and moments.
Like your surroundings.
Yeah, like if I experience something that was, you know, a strong moment, I would definitely that would it would just stick in my head and I would just
Wow.
eventually end up writing about that or, you know, punching in about that in a song depending on, you know, what type of vibe I wanted to go with it.
Right. When you said that people around you that kind of influences music, does that the like basically does that like mean like basically your everyday experiences, like people that you know, or
Yeah.
basically like that?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Okay.
Just
Oh wow. Like so it's cool to know that like um just like you could be doing you can be doing like just something on a day to day, and then like something can happen, like this probably the worst example, but like someone can like, you know, um like step on your shoe or whatever, and like, you know, if it that traumatic of a moment can like spark something, um can
Yeah.
spark something special. Like it's the that just goes by, that just like shows how creative your mind is, like how creative your how your mind is working on like pretty much like a 24/7 basis.
Mhm.
Like I mean, like, and to be honest, you can probably back this up, but you won't really notice that it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally.
it's just like it's basically, most people think that like a creative mind can be switched on and off, or like it could be like you can be sitting there um like trying to write a song, but to be honest, most of the songs that people make can be based off of, you know, everyday experiences. So
Yeah. It literally, it
yeah.
could just be a
Yeah.
moment, something that
Mhm.
stayed with you, and you don't have to think about it. It kind of just flows. It just comes out. If it's, like that's just how I started going about my music. Because when I tried to put pressure on myself to do something, it doesn't come out the way I want. So I just said I don't, if it just depends on the vibe I'm feeling now. Like if I'm feeling a happy vibe, a lit vibe, whatever, I'll find a beat that best matches that vibe for me, and I'll just go in and just start punching whatever the fuck comes to my head, bro. And that's the best way I can get across whatever I'm feeling, whatever it is I wanted to get across, is the first thing that comes to your head. I believe like one of the biggest like problems and issues with um a lot of like just people wanting to make decisions is just the overthinking. Like you're just
Yeah.
overthinking the process. Like you got to trust in your gut. You just got to trust it. Like you're like, people don't even realize it, but you're right most of the time. You trust your gut anyway. So I'd rather take those chances than, sit there and try to force myself to do it because someone's saying that's how it's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? Um, but that's just how I see it.
I mean, that just, that right there just reflects basically your whole career, to be honest. Even before you did music, like you didn't really pay attention to anyone trying to tell you what to do from the beginning,
Nope.
you know? So like from you being a dancer to, you know, not going to college, to trusting your gut, and, you know, making your music all the way to the present day, just, you know, like you've done it this far, why not, why do you need to stop now? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so the one last question that I wanted to end this off with is a question that I asked Felipe as well. Um it's when you're successful, right? People always say it's always a lonely journey, because again, like it's your journey, you want to do it your way,
Mhm.
but you always need those group of people, or that, or someone to kind of keep you grounded.
Mhm.
So as we talked about before, you know, you have that really close niche group of friends, like in that you grew up with, right? um so but little do people know, your group of friends are also doing music as well, and they're doing they're doing really well as well. And also the apart from them, you also have other people that are successful in their own right, you
Yeah.
know. So in that, with that being said, how how do you guys kind of lift each other up, but at the same time not necessarily clash with each other's successes, right?
Mm. So it's funny because we have a group chat, and that's how we mostly talk every day. We all are in the group chat, and you know what happens in group chats? You guys most likely start talking a bunch of crap about each
For
other.
sure, yeah.
So that's probably how we keep each other grounded. We just start clowning on each other. But when anyone drops a song, everyone posts it. Whenever
Mm-hmm.
anyone it once it is doing a video shoot, everyone tries to pull up if they can. Whenever anyone is doing anything, everyone tries to be a part of it. We have our own little family. So I think the way we keep it leveled out is just being ourselves, to be honest, because forever. The reason why we're all so close still to this day is because of who we are and how we are with each other. We've all been the same. None of us changed. All of us stayed the same exact people that we decided to be friends with in the beginning. At this point, we're like brothers. So, you know, um we just get along so well. It's effortless for us to do these things off of just natural instinct. If we feel like someone's acting crazy or out of place, like there's plenty of people that will speak up in the chat. And there's plenty of people that will be there to lift you up when you do something really good. And we have our little meetings, our little friend get-togethers and stuff to celebrate accomplishments all the time. um yeah, so we it's really natural, it's really just effortless for all of us to do it. It just happens, not even with no thought in mind. We just tend to do it.
And just having like that group of friends just to be real, like just not being there just because just because you're successful or whatever, but just having that real group of friends, just to like what you said, to tell you when you're wrong, to lift you up when you accomplish something, and basically to support each other until the end. That definitely is, I would say, in my opinion, that is probably one aspect in one's career to help them get to the top.
Yeah,
Because again, like, I mean, you don't want to be alone at the top, because there's no one there to share your accomplishments, or just anyone to support you. You
yeah,
know, like fans will be there, to support your music or whatever. But I mean, are they
yeah,
going to be there on the downtime to be like, even when you're going through a bad day? So like,
yeah,
everyone has those. So having everyone there by your side is just such a good feeling to have, man. So
yeah, yep,
um and also another thing that I've always wanted to ask this question, because it's a question or something that I've seen multiple times on social media. And I'm not saying that like you're like at the top of your game or at all, but um as you said, you do have a girlfriend, right?
yeah.
And we both know her personally.
uh,
Um, in your opinion, how do you kind of make that decision to be like, I want to be with this person, not just because to have someone by my side, but to have someone to support me through my journey, like every step of the way. Because um, yeah, no, let's talk about that first.
yeah, yeah, I like that question. To be honest, it's so all of my life I've always been the type of person that just wanted to be with one person.
Mhm.
Like the whole idea of how it is in high school, like it was always a competition, and it was one of those things that just I never understood. And I just always wanted to be just to one person. And the qualities I always look for were always very strict and very, very like I was very, very picky, like in the qualities I look for. And a partner, because this is the person I want to bring into my life. And as I started making music and being looked at more with more eyes, it really, really, really mattered who I had next to me. Because it comes with a lot, like, and also comes along with whether that person can handle it. Because like it was very easy for me to handle it, but I think it was because of my past, and like all being a dancer and being in front of, like, it was just one of those things that were easy for me, but for the average person it's not the same. And um I think that being strict on the qualities of whichever person I decide to be with, and depending on, how I feel like they could actually, benefit me and I could benefit them, and we could, be a team, then that's how I would, make the decision, like, yeah, this is a person I want to keep with me going through this. And it's really, really, really hard though. I think I'm very patient, and I'm, you know, a bit lucky, to to find someone while I'm already have developed some type of notoriety in the sense, and it not be someone that's just strictly trying to use me, you know. It's one of those things that just comes with a little bit of luck and being patient. So I think that it's definitely a really good thing to have someone before you get there, but it's not impossible to find someone once you do get there. It's just a lot harder, and it really comes with a bunch of patience. And um, yeah, that's pretty much it, though.
How and how did you know that she was going to be there for you and not and not what you have already?
Yeah, and that's where the luck is. I was just lucky
Mm,
that was the case. I just trusted in the process. I trusted in it, and I just accepted the possibilities of it being otherwise, and I just said this is something I'm gonna have to deal with. Like, at the end of the day, um I'm here looking for, just a person that I can, you know I can build with, and if it happens, it doesn't. It's, whatever happens is supposed to happen, and I've been going off of that since 2 years ago. Literally every single decision I've been making is like, I'm gonna make this decision based on my gut, and if it happens, it's meant to be. If it doesn't, then it's not meant to be, and that's just how I leave it at the door. I don't want to dwell on things anymore. It's way too many things that are bigger. It's just like, my mind has shifted to so many bigger things. I don't want to be dwelling on things that are so, like, minuscule, like it's not as big as the overall picture
right.
that I'm trying to build, so, it's really just one of those things, just kind of just believing in my gut, trusting my gut that, that's the case.
Hey man, like just everything. It's so crazy because you've never lost track of um how you, well, like basically uh how you were pretty much brought up and how basically what has worked for you thus far, not just going by just basically your music career, but basically you as a person from, like um basically growing up in Puerto Rico for 4 years,
Yeah.
kind of like showing you kind of like real life, and then coming back here and just basically, not not really letting people tell you what to do, kind of like trusting in your gut,
Mhm.
basically you kind of molding yourself
Yeah.
into the
Shaping me, yeah.
yeah, molding yourself into the person, basically like how everyone should be like throughout their life. I mean, I feel like people are me is included, because like I've learned, just going by just talking to you, I've learned that um like like it's not worth just, dwelling on the very small things that are very short term,
Hmm.
and just trusting in your gut, and like, trusting that maybe at this moment, like your decision might not be the right one. It might not feel like good, but like the only thing that matters is that that this is the best thing for you.
Yeah.
And just like that right there, I should definitely, you know have people kind of realize as right now, because again, you never know. uh Life is really short,
Yeah.
as you know. So like, I mean, like you should be, living your life as the best as you can, and the way to do that is basically just making your own decisions the way,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
you.
And I'm so heavy on that whole thing, like living your life, but I just think people don't like fully get what it means to that, you only have one life, like make the best of it. Yes, but it doesn't mean do all this crazy shit every day because you're going to die one day. It's live it to the best like way you can, like the best ways. Like don't make a billion mistakes on purpose. Like a lot of the things people do are based on with what their friends
Mm,
say, what their moms say, what their significant others say, and you're not living your life for you. And the second you make that decision based on what someone else says, you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. And you later just realize you're not living your life anymore. You're
yep,
living someone else's life. And that's one thing that I've always, always noticed all my life at a really young age. And it was really weird for me because I started to think I was just weird because I didn't want to go out to parties and I didn't want to go out with my friends because I was scared they would put me in a bad situation.
oh man,
And
yeah,
it's like at in high school, I don't like you're not really scared that your friends are going to put you in a bad situation. You're not thinking of that. You're thinking of just like going out and having fun. But like I think I was just too mindful of the possibilities of someone trying to put me in a pressuring moment to do something that I wouldn't do on my own time if it was up to me, you know?
for sure.
So I just ended up being I've been in multiple situations in high school and I was just I've developed strong enough mindset to be able to fight off every single time encounter anything like that has happened. And like I think that's so important, like to literally live your life for you. Don't let people tell you or influence you on what decision to make or what to do in life. I think 1000% I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't ignore everything everyone told me. If I didn't listen to my mom, if I didn't listen to all these people, I didn't listen to anyone because I had a feeling that I had a better interest in what was for me than what they did. I know they're not doing it out of um like bad intent, but they're not me, you know. I always felt like at the end of the day, it's going to come to a time where they're not going to be able to make that decision based on what you want to do with your life, you know. A mom's instinct works when they are looking out for you for things like um things they've already been through, but when it comes to making a life decision with your career and where you go and all these things, you you are much better off making that decision yourself than letting them influence you. You know what I mean? I think that's why a lot of kids end up in these situations going to college because it's just what their parents expect, and being in a tricky situation at the end of the day. So yeah, I think like listening to yourself and trusting your gut and not letting people influence you is one of the biggest and honestly hardest things to actually follow through with.
Let me tell you one last thing. Your mental strength is insane because, like, and just going by how young you are, it's just like so many, especially now, like, and especially when you were in high school, when before all this went down, just like there's so many external influences, right? Like even like for which is like, well, even for us, like growing up in the same town, right? So like every weekend there was always a house party,
Right.
and it was always the people that we knew, so it was like everyone went. Like if you didn't go, then you were labeled as, the loner or
Mhm.
whatever, or so there, that was a big, that's a big uh like mental struggle for, you know, not just for us, but for kids in general, like, you know, like, and just you kind of knowing yourself, not just like having, not just like, you know, just saying no or whatever, but basically the way that you explained is that you being comfortable in yourself and be like, this is what I want to do, and this is not what like, this I wouldn't do this myself, so why would I do it now?
Yeah,
So is
exactly.
something that people should learn.
Yeah.
um Anyone, not even just kids, just anyone, just like being comfortable. I am going to be talking about this in a different podcast, but just being, just knowing yourself and what your morals are, what you're not comfortable with, what you're comfortable with, is such a big thing to kind of learn, because it can dictate, it can dictate where your life is going to take you,
Yes.
you know. So, and
Exactly.
you're a great example, because, you know, it's like you made the decision, no one else did.
Yeah.
You know, everyone else made the decision for you to be part of society and do something else, you
Exactly.
know. So, man, this I like literally lost track of time, but man, like, i'm so I'm so thankful for you to, you know, like, take this time out of your day to, you know, just, you know, sit down and chop it up with me and basically go through your experiences from, you know, from the beginning all the way to your present day, and what your goal is for later on down the line in your career, and basically where your mindset is, and how mm, you know what, how different your mindset is on other people that I know.
Mhm.
And it's great that you learned that type of mindset that everyone should be, that should learn way earlier than
Yeah.
a lot of people. So thank you again. um if you guys are watching this on the YouTube channel, his socials and is going, and other stuff is going to be in the description. Your latest single was Tina Turner, correct?
The Eternal.
Yeah, so that one is that single is out right now on, is it all streaming platforms or just Spotify?
No, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere, all streaming platforms. So look that up. I actually listened to it in the gym the other
Yeah.
day,
But you
and
know what's so funny? A lot of people were saying that. So I have Pit Stop, Swervin, and now Tina Turner that are on like these workout playlists, and a lot of people are saying like a lot of my music is good for the gym. So I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, no, it's very. I'm telling you, it's the flow of the song. It's the, again, like what you said. It's the beat of the song.
Yeah.
Usually, when we listen to a lot of these songs in the gym, it's all about the beat. So, you know, Pit Stop for sure. I've listened to that pretty much since I first listened to it in the gym, and um, you know, and that has been on my playlist for a long time. But, you know, all these other songs, like, to be honest, like, I'm not really surprised, because again, it's the beat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, man. I hope to, again, I hope to see you in person, because, you know, I haven't seen a lot of a lot of
Yeah.
you guys in a really long time, and, you know, definitely we definitely got to link up and chill in the near future.
Hell yeah.
You know. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode, and yeah, so thanks, Uno, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.